Can you guess what a space disco in a Texas ghost town and a punk rock concert with a merchandise table have in common with a traditional wedding? The answer? Very little. But in today's episode, I am chatting with New York-based founder, author and self-confessed anti-wedding planner, Amy Shack Egan, the woman behind Modern Rebel, the Love Party movement and day of coordination marketplace Cheersy, and you're going to find out the common thread through those crazy expressions of love and relationships. We dive into what a love party actually is, and no, there's no keys in a bowl. How to design a wedding that feels like you without forgetting your guests, and why wedding planning can be the ultimate team sport for your relationship. Amy also shares how hundreds of real couples have rewritten the rules of their weddings, what she's learned from planning close to 500 perfectly imperfect celebrations, and how she's bottled about a decade of experience into her new book, The Rebel Wedding Planning Guide, Rewrite the Rules and Celebrate Your Love, which is coming out on the 10th of Feb. So if you're feeling meh about planning a cookie-cutter wedding, or you secretly wish someone would give you the permission to do things differently, this conversation is going to light you up. Let's get stuck into it. Unbridely is a community of pro-wedding vendors who believe in freedom and integrity in weddings, giving you options, solutions, tips and tricks to create the experience and memories that you and your fiancé really want and deserve. Because we believe that weddings are a team sport. With how-tos, stories and interviews with recently married couples, we find out what went right and what they'd change if they could go back and do it all over again. I'm Camille, and welcome to the Unbridely podcast. Hi, Amy. I'm so thrilled to meet you. Welcome to the podcast.
Hi, I'm so excited to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, very stoked to get you on here because I know, number one, how busy you are. I know, number two, how in demand you and your services are. And number three, you're on the other side of the planet. So teeing these things up, you know.
Yes, I'm so excited to be joining you from the past and seeing into the future by just being on this podcast.
I just told Amy, yeah, your future looks bright. Everything's great here, day later. But Amy, I know a bit about you now because I've been stalking you a little in a really friendly way. Could you share with the listener who you are, what you do, where you are?
Yes, of course. So my name is Amy Shack Egan. I live in New York City, and I started my first company 10 years ago called Modern Rebel, which is a wedding planning company to help couples rewrite the rules to weddings. And then almost a year ago, I started my second business, Cheersy, which is a digital marketplace to book a day of wedding coordinator, which came out of a need that I was sort of doing as a side project. I kept matchmaking people to amazing coordinators, even though I didn't offer it in my business, my other business, Modern Rebel. I only did full service. And that's become Cheersy, and it's been incredible. So I have two businesses in the wedding industry. And then I also have a book coming out in February called The Rebel Wedding Planning Guidebook, Rewriting the Rules to Weddings. And I'm so excited about that. That comes out February 10th. And that's taking everything I learned in planning weddings and what I call love parties for couples and putting it and bottling it up into a book that people can buy. So a lot going on. I'm also a mom to twin girls who are 5 months old and a little boy who's 4.5.
Yeah.
And Mike, just chaotic, beautiful. Yeah, it's messy, but it's also really wonderful. And I'm really, really grateful to be here. I feel very just aligned with sort of where I am in my career and where I am in this place and time. So it feels really good to be here and talking to you.
Perfectly imperfect, perhaps.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. Yes. Oh,
yeah. And that all completely shines through on your socials, Amy.
Oh.
And there was one particular Instagram post that I saw recently, and I went, okay, that's the key. That's the button right there. I got to talk to this woman because of this whole love party idea.
Yeah.
And so you're known as the anti-wedding planner, which is exactly what Unbridely stands for. So I'm like, okay.
Yes.
But then these love parties,
Hmm.
I cannot express how on board I am with this, how thrilled I am that you're doing it like on a, on a commercial scale. So
Oh.
if you could explain what the hell is a love party? And yeah, do keys go in bowls? What's going on?
So, love party, I define it as a wedding that breaks the rules. And you may break every single rule and plan a space disco cowboy love party in the middle of a ghost town in Austin, Texas, which I have done.
Wow.
You may plan a punk rock wedding at a concert hall and have a merch table instead of a favor table. You may break every single rule, tradition, rewrite it, whatever. Or you probably, like a lot of people, really rewrite a few rules for yourself. And so you can still have a love party. It's really a spectrum. And I've planned over 10 years close to 500 love parties with incredible couples around the United States. And it's been a blast to reimagine, remix
Mm.
traditions in the name of celebration of two unique individuals and their partnership. So that to me is simple, and it's also kind of beautifully complex. So that's kind of where the work lies, and bringing out the interesting parts about two people who are coming together and putting that into a party.
Yeah, yeah. I was trying to explain it to, I also am a software founder. I was trying to explain it to my co founder. And am I
Yeah.
right in saying that you basically grab all the things that one partner loves and all the things that the other partner loves, see where they intersect, see where they complement each other, and literally build a celebration around that?
100%. I mean, everybody brings more or less to the table when they start wedding planning. But, when I first started the business, I was a gender studies major in college. I was the last person that was going to start a wedding planning company, really, truly. And I was like, weddings? No way. I was helping a friend plan a wedding, and she's like, you could be a wedding planner. You're really good at this. I'm like, oh, yeah, this industry
Yeah,
is off its
horrendous.
rocker. No, I'm not. No. And then I thought maybe other people feel this way, and maybe I could help the couples that want to rewrite the rules a little bit in sort of the name of celebrating who they actually are versus just a script of what a wedding had to be. And and yes, and so then over years of building a business, we developed forms and intake forms that felt more like, I would say they felt more like fun BuzzFeed quizzes versus like a health form, which is a lot of what you're filling out when you're filling out these forms usually for planners. And what comes out of that when you really get to know people, that's the interesting, like what makes you interesting? Like let's put that into the party.
Yeah, what makes you tick?
Yeah, and you really learn about people. As you know, I know in your work, like you really get to know people and what makes them tick when you wedding plan with them.
Got all the dirt there. But also,
Hmm.
it's I was trying to explain it to the co-founder, and he goes, I would never have a wedding. And I went, okay, let me challenge that. If you found someone that you loved
Hmm.
and you could have a wedding with, like he's nuts about, this is very random, but my co-founder is nuts about like deli meats, like cured meats, nuts about them, right?
Yeah.
And he loves like all sorts of varieties of fresh pressed juices.
Hmm.
And he loves a certain type of whiskey.
Hmm.
And there was another point as well. And I said, what if you could have a celebration of your love with all
Exactly.
those things? That's the sort of thing that you're pulling together.
100%. Yeah, yes, absolutely. I think with the caveat that you have to always remember that when you're throwing a party, it isn't just about you and your partner. That is a big component. But like I always say that like you can't, this is a really ridiculous thing, but you can't have like
Yeah.
let's say you wanted to have a like a pool party for your wedding, but
Yeah.
half your guests can't swim. Well, that wouldn't work. Right. So
Mm,
you have to sort of have a delicate balance between what is us and what is going to allow people to know that they're walking into something that feels totally us, and what is going to allow us as a couple to drop our shoulders to feel seen by this celebration, while
mm.
also balancing the very real fact that this is a party, and you do have to think about your guests and it's a gathering. So there are
Yeah.
some rules you don't want to throw out the window.
That's great, Amy, because there is a lot of very generalized wedding planning advice out there that
Mhm.
is basically middle finger to convention, to tradition
Hmm.
to custom. And a lot of planners and advisors and stylists, they say, go with what you want. Go with what you want and don't worry about your guests. But I'm from your camp where it's like, why are you inviting your guests anyway?
Yeah, then you can
You're
elope.
not getting married in a vacuum here. You expect your friends and family to still like you, still kind of want to talk to you
Mhm.
afterwards throughout your marriage. You're going to need the support. So there does have to be that balance, right? Between what
Yeah.
the couple wants, what your friends and family, I don't know, feel supported by as well.
Yes, absolutely. You have to think about that. If you're throwing a party, you could elope
Sure.
and, not think about that at all. But I think if you are throwing, I think that's the important part of the word, right? Love party. I always thought it's really simple. It's a party about your love. So you got to have both the components, right? You need to harken back to
Yeah.
your love, what makes you unique, what makes your love so special, makes you two so special. And then party implies that we got other people coming into this mix.
Yeah,
So
you're
let's think
hosting.
about them too and make sure they have a good guest experience because that's going to stress you out if you're not thinking about that at all. Like, then you're going to be stressed out on the day of if you didn't think about that. Oh, wait, half our guests don't eat deli meat because,
Exactly.
I don't
Half our
know,
guests are
there's
vegetarian.
right,
What the
right.
hell now? Yeah.
Yes, there you go. Yeah.
Okay, great, great. And because
Hmm.
that also knocks on to the next thing I wanted to ask you, Amy. So, a lot of couples are overwhelmed by the expectations from family, from social media, from everywhere, every corner of the
Yeah.
globe at the moment. So,
Yeah.
what are the most common rules or pressures that you see that couples are facing?
Well, I think that there's a few different buckets, right, where you see a lot of these pressures pop up. One of the first things I talk about with every couple that I've worked with, and then I put this in the book, which because I think it's really important, you know, money is a big conversation when you talk about weddings, and it's kind of weird and awkward because it's a celebration and you just got engaged, you're so excited, and then we get to talk about money. It's like really not the
It's a real
sexiest thing in the
downer.
world. It's a real downer. No one wants to talk about it. It's not fun. But you got to talk about it because you got to know at the beginning who's financially contributing to this event. You got to not make any real assumptions. A lot of people, they'll make these assumptions and then they'll realize halfway through the process they were actually wrong. And that's not, you don't want to be in that place, by the way. So you want to get that conversation out on the table early. And to go back to just pressure that you feel, I always say that you need to get one thing very clear about that. You need to understand, is this a grant or is this a gift? Because a grant has strings. Grant says, here's my money, and you
Ooh.
need to spend it in a certain way. And a gift says, here's my money. You could go flush that money down the toilet. I mean, I might be a little like, oh, really? But like,
Yeah.
I don't get a say because it's a gift. You can give a gift and someone could re-gift that gift, immediately.
Yeah.
So having that conversation early actually allows you to understand a little bit better what rules and traditions might be a little bit easier to remix or reimagine or completely break away from based on what strings may or may not be attached. So I think that's like a really crucial conversation early.
Mm.
And then I think from there's a lot of pressures because I think there's, a lot of times a modern couple that is making decisions based on who they are and what they like, and even their friends that may not be the same sort of thinking or mindset as generations prior or past.
Oh.
And I see that all the time with even food service, or you're not going to have, bridesmaids, or you're not going to have a traditional, seated dinner. You're not going to have introduction, like different things. And you'll be like, kind of surprised by what rattles the people in your family and what they have an opinion on. You're like, you didn't even have that many opinions before I started wedding planning. And now you have so many opinions. Like, take a break from the opinions. It's weird when you start wedding planning, you realize you're like, oh, you actually have a lot of opinions. So that's, I think, a big, big piece of the pressure.
Do you suggest maybe a bit of a fact finding mission at the start that you're gathering all your info?
Yeah. So I actually have like a bunch of forms that, again, came from 10 years of my first company, which was all about working one on one with couples and helping them rewrite these rules and plan these celebrations. And we planned, a Brooklyn
Mm.
block party wedding, and we did just so many unique and fresh. We did a carnival wedding once,
Oh,
things that were just really fun and unique. But it's part of like that process is understanding what your what you really care about. Like, what are your
Mm.
priorities? What are you excited about? Like, even in the planning process. And also giving people real ideas around how to reimagine it. Because I actually think a lot of people don't know. They're like, I don't really want to do a first dance because we don't really like to dance, but I don't know what else to do. Like, you shouldn't just copy somebody else. But here are some other things other people have done. Somebody else they loved playing ping pong. They did a first ping pong match. Someone else, played Nintendo or Mario Kart. I always say this wrong because I never know anything about video games. But like
Computer
they did
thingy
the thing
game
with the yes, exactly.
with the controls.
That was yeah, yeah. Yeah, don't ask me to play that game. I'm so terrible. But like you figure out what makes you interesting and your partner interesting, and that's way better than just saying, "Well, what should I do? What do other people do?" Really spend some actual intentional time thinking about that question. It's actually the work. It's not in the spreadsheets. It's not in the vendor phone calls. That's all work too. But the actual, like, hey, who are we and why are we throwing this? And what matters to us? A lot of people don't do that work. And I think the important piece here, which I saw that you has shared this exact same framework, which I know we have so many like similar ethos. It's so cool across the world but
Yeah.
I've been saying forever that like wedding planning is a team sport. And if you
Mm.
treat it that way, it will make so much of the other projects that you're going to do in your life together just that much easier because
Yeah.
you've learned how to budget, you learned how to communicate, you learned how to somebody takes lead, somebody hangs back, and then find that delicate dance like throughout the process. It's not always someone in front. You're constantly kind of doing that dance. That is crucial because
Mm.
and I put it in my contracts like years ago that I wouldn't work with somebody's mom, and I got like, you don't like moms? And I'm like, I love moms, but I don't want to plan a wedding with your mom. I want you two to come into this. It's not going to be
Yeah.
50-50, but I'd like for you to walk away from this and feel like, man, Amy helped us throw a really great party, but we also got great like relationship tools out of this as well. Just by sheer fact of doing this together, not because I really shared that many.
Yeah, you're not sitting there with a notepad like,
I am not a
lie down on my
therapist.
couch. Let's
No,
yeah.
but you see that the heat gets turned on when you start wedding planning. It's true. Like you got to figure out how to navigate that pressure together.
That's so good. And that's exactly what I wanted to talk about as well. Basically, wedding planning being not just about the wedding day, but like the start of a married
Mhm.
life, and the
Yes.
old adage, you start as you mean to go on, and that exchange of ideas. And also, it doesn't have to be perfect, 50-50 on everything. But yeah, I love that idea that it's a dance, when one person's leading, yeah, another person follows, but then you swap, and you
100%.
share your strengths and everything. Can you think of an example like of a couple like that?
Oh, I have a lot of stories. I mean, I think that actually the best gift to me as a wedding planner has always been the texts, not even just the next day. Those are great. It's the 2 years later. It's
Oh,
the 3 years later. It's, "Amy, we just had our first kid, and
yeah.
wedding planning with you is literally, like it was foundational for how we're, like, navigating this new chapter."
Wow.
I mean, I can't like, that just gives me chills because that is the best gift I could give, and I think my gender studies major, like, I reached a point where I was sort of like, I was helping couples rewrite the rules a few years into my business, but I was like, "Man, like, I can throw a great party. I know I can help couples do that." But if I could really help them shift how they think about their relationship, that would be it.
That's
And
amazing.
yeah, I would say it's the future text that I get. And I had one couple in particular that actually really fundamentally shifted how I thought about weddings. And they're still dear friends of mine. And like they had a really kind of whatever you would say, like come to Jesus moment or like a heart to heart. I don't know what you would call that moment in our wedding
Sorry,
planning
what did you
process.
call it?
Do you guys use that? I
What do
don't know.
how did, what was the phrase?
Come to Jesus moment.
Come to Jesus.
Even if you're not religious, you can say that. It's a very probably American phrase. But it's like it's basically like we were wedding planning, and they were just so busy and like work and this and that, and I could tell that like her voice was cracking on the call. I just said, "We're just gonna stop." I said, look, nothing matters if this isn't good. So I just said to them, I said, we can pause this. I can ramp things up. I can slow it back. Like, I'm good at that. I've done things on 2-month timelines. I've done them on 12-month timelines. Like, we're good. You guys got to be good. So I said to them on that call, I said, this week, you've got to take one night and you've got to not talk about the wedding. And you've just got to have fun together. And then one night this week, you've got to talk about wedding planning and you've got to make decisions together and delegate. Who's going to make the decisions if you're not? And that's how they started approaching the wedding planning process. And it was beautiful because it was just like, actually, this has got to be good, because if we don't have something to celebrate, what's the point? Why are we doing this?
Yeah.
There is no point. Like,
Yeah, what are we doing?
pause. Yeah.
Do you know what one of the biggest regrets of newly married couples is? They'll say, I wish I had more memories from my wedding day. It was my favourite day. And one of the smartest ways I've seen couples do this is by making sure that they arrange a quick, foolproof and really simple way to collect and share their guests' wedding photos. Because if you think about it, with an average wedding of, say, 100 guests, with every one of them taking 5 photos or videos, I mean, they'll take much more, of course, but I'm talking about the good ones. That's an opportunity for you to collect and download 500 extra photos and videos of their perspective on your wedding day. The stuff that happened that you didn't even get to see. But your barriers are overly complicated instructions or processes. Let's face it, if it takes too long, forces your guest into registering, if you've got to use a certain social media platform, or it's just a pain in the ass, and I'm looking at you, Dropbox and Google Drive, your family and friends just won't do it. And the tech fear and privacy concerns too, because no one wants to download yet another app that has a data breach. Never Miss Moments is an essential resource for busy soon-to-be weds just like you. Your unlimited photo and video gallery is held in a secure server for 12 months, and for your guests, it's a one-click QR code solution. There's no app to download, no need to register, and it's quick. Win-win. Your guests will be able to look back on and reminisce about your wedding, and your fam and friends' different perspectives of your wedding day is such an incredible lifelong gift for you too. The team at Never Miss Moments are obsessed with giving you the very best customer service, and I'm stoked to be able to pass on their special 10% off discount offer on their galleries when you go to nevermissmoments.com/unbridely. So that's never miss moments, all one word, .com/unbridely, which, in case you don't already know, UNBRIDELY. The discount will show up in your cart automatically. And of course, I'll pop the link in the show notes for you as well. So after planning hundreds of these love
Yeah.
parties, what did you say? Almost 500?
Yeah. Well, it was me and the team. I didn't plan. I wasn't on site for 500, but I was on site for, I don't know what that count is, but I
Amy,
think it's
mate,
a lot.
I'm certain you were emotionally invested in 500.
Yeah, I really cared about all those couples. I still do. I mean, I still get updates from them. It's really cool to stay connected to them.
Yeah. Oh, it's so beautiful. I had a couple last week. I married them 10 years ago. And they went,
That's
hey,
special.
Camille, do you remember us? And I'm like, oh my God. It's just,
That is
it's incredible.
so cool.
Yeah.
I actually reached back to some of my first couples and I sent them an invitation to my book launch party. And I got the nicest note back from one. I literally just sent these out, so we'll see who comes. But one of them was like, "It means so much that you thought of us." And I'm like, I wouldn't have had a business without the people that took a chance on me at the beginning. And I'm so grateful for them. I'll never forget that. And I want to stay connected. You're like so emotionally connected for this period of time, and then it's like over, and it's hard to just let go.
I agree. But couples, I find, are surprised. They're like,
Yeah.
you really care. And it's like,
Well,
yeah.
that might be a little bit of the industry's reputation. right? I feel like that's a thing where people, they kind of feel almost, like they're a product and
Yeah,
it's, I'll move on to the next
transactional.
couple. Yeah, it's so transactional. Yeah.
Mm. And I think for those vendors and those suppliers who have been around a decent amount of time, that's the only way. I haven't seen
Yeah.
much success from treating it like a transaction when you're
Yeah.
literally celebrating someone's relationship. Anyway, could talk all day.
100%.
But yeah, so hundreds, 500 odd love parties through Modern Rebel. And so then talk to me about Cheersy. Talk to me
Yeah.
about like what prompted that and yeah, how you connected with these coordinators. How did that work?
It was a really natural thing. So I was, founder of Modern Rebel, planning these love parties, working with my team. And eventually we stopped offering what we call here, I don't know what you guys call it there. We call it day of coordination here. And it's a little bit misleading because it's a lot misleading because it's not just someone showing up on the day of, okay?
No.
They show up 6 weeks before the wedding and then they get organized. So they build a really detailed timeline. They become the contact for all your vendors. They are running a final site visit. They do a final meeting. They're on site for the wedding day, sort of from load in to load out with an assistant. So it's essentially like you've planned the wedding, but you don't want to run it. And somebody's got to run it. So I was constantly recommending these qualified coordinators because people would come to Modern Rebel, even though they knew we maybe didn't offer the service, they might say, hey, I'm really looking for an LGBTQ plus coordinator that has experience at this venue. Or I need someone who has familiarity with, these specific traditions and this specific, culture or faith. And because I've been in the industry a long time, I would recommend great people that I knew that maybe they did include it in their business, maybe it was more of a side hustle, but I knew they were really competent professionals. And so it was kind of like a matchmaking service. And then I realized that it was enough recommending that it was its own business.
Mm.
And where I was in my career, where I'd sort of done the entrepreneurial grind of building the business, learning a lot of things the hard way from scratch, being a wedding planner, and also becoming a mom. Like when I started my business, I was single, I had no children, I now am married, I have 3 kids, and I always joke, I'm like, you don't want me on site anymore. Like I am old and tired. Like you want someone young and not necessarily young, but like you want someone who has more energy than I do. Okay. I have 2 newborn baby. Oh, they're not newborns anymore, but they're 5 months old. Like I'm a tired person. I need a lot of coffee. So I realized I was like, I think this is a really beautiful business, like because it not only fills the needs for a lot of couples that don't have the budget for full service planner, but should make sure at a minimum that they
Mm.
get a qualified day of coordinator and they don't know where to go to trust who's
Yeah.
qualified. And I have a great, like, I can vet people. I know what makes a really great coordinator. Cool. I also already know great coordinators. So I think I have people that would sign up. And I also felt really excited about building that community of sort of giving back to people who maybe don't have the resources or support like I didn't have when I first
Mm.
started my business.
Mm.
So that's been 11 months in the making. I mean, it's been live since last February and it's been incredible. We did about 50 weddings our first year. And we'll probably, I'm going to knock on wood as I say this, but if not double it, triple it this year. And it's been honestly a beautiful love letter to sort of like 23-year-old Amy who went into this industry not knowing anybody. And now I just get to be connected to like people I really respect and admire. And we are developing a junior coordinator program now. So you had to apply to be on Cheersy.
That's what
But
I wanted to ask. Yeah, because you've got some sort of training element there as well.
yeah, we do. So the coordinators do have to have a certain level of very specific experience to be accepted as sort of a regular standard coordinator on our platform because quality is the biggest pillars of the business are quality and community. So I can't recommend someone if I'm not 110% sure that they're going to do a really great job and they know this job is hard. And I have so much respect for the job because I've done it. I've eaten the vendor meals in the closets. Like I've swept the floor. Like I've been there when like the floral installation breaks and I have to fix it. Like, I've like the power has gone out of the venue. I've been there when the tent is swaying. I know what it's like. I've been there. It is stressful.
It's high
So stressful.
pressure.
And nobody sees the 100 things behind the scenes that are incredibly hard and that you are navigating. So, anyway, I have a lot of respect for making sure that couples are matched also with people that can handle that kind of pressure. But
Mm,
the junior
mm.
program is for people that are, we realized we had a lot of people on the wait list who wanted to be on the platform, but they didn't have the right amount of experience, but they had enthusiasm and they had adjacent experience. Like maybe they'd done something that was similar, but not weddings. So this actually just launched this month, and that we're accepting people into the junior coordinator program. So they get, in addition to the training, which everybody actually has to go through, no matter the level, because I want to make sure, hey, maybe you've been in the business for 10 years. It's always good to do a brush up.
Oh,
And
yeah.
maybe you learn something being in a cohort with other people, and somebody goes, I do it this way. And you go, I could brush up my systems. Maybe it could be better this way.
Yeah.
But they get training and they get additional training and support through us as a, kind of a Cheersy platform. And they get a little badge on their profile that says junior coordinator. So, people know that they're new, but it's just such a better way to say, hey, here's how you can start with that support versus saying, just start and figure it out, which is what I had to do. And I felt like I had to
Exactly.
sort of fake it.
You'll
And,
sink or swim.
it's like, maybe we shouldn't just push people into faking it
Maybe
till they
not.
make it. Maybe we should give them some support.
There's no easy way to gain experience in weddings. There's
Yep.
there's some big costs there, and the biggest costs are these poor couples who are hoping, praying,
Yeah.
giving you a little bit of benefit of the doubt
Yeah.
that you're going to actually deliver what you say you're going to deliver. So I think it's
hmm
so cool that you put your money where your mouth is, Amy.
I'm an entrepreneur. We have a disease. We cannot stop starting businesses. It's a problem, actually. My husband would tell you. Um, but I love this industry. I can't believe that I'm in it because everything in my past would say, the gender studies, big, loudest feminist in my friend group. You just never would have thought I'd be in the wedding industry, truly. But I love it. And I think that the people in this industry have such a hustle and they care. Most people, there's exceptions to every rule, but it's been a really wild ride to take what I've learned at Modern Rebel and be able to put it to
Mm.
Cheersy. And so the cool thing now is to say, hey, you're planning a wedding yourself, buy the book, and don't forget to book a day of coordinator. If we're in your city, go to Cheersy, please.
Yeah. And I wanted to check on that. Like, so are you only in certain parts of America? Because Amy, like
Yes.
Unbridely listeners, I've got over 50% of my listeners are from the
Yeah.
States. So, like, are you in certain regions and not others?
Right now we're in New York City. That's our biggest market because that's where Modern Rebel started and that's where I live. And we are also in Los Angeles and we're in Vermont. It's kind of random. We just have great talent that we know out in Vermont. So New York City, surrounding areas, New Jersey, Hudson Valley, Long Island, and Los Angeles. We did have a great couple hire us to come out to San Francisco last year from LA. So if you're in California, we might be able to make it work. But the
Yeah.
goal is really to really get sort of it in, a really great place in New York and then expand out to most major cities over the next several years. So I'm so excited. I'd love like being kind of my big sister energy for other event entrepreneurs, like, just put that
Yeah, I can
energy in the
feel
right
that from you.
place.
It's like,
Yeah,
come in, under my
I
wing.
love it.
Let's make this
I
work.
love talking business, and that's my team would tell you, they'd be like, "Amy, be less available." I'm like, "I can't run a business like that. I just love it. I wanna what's your issue? Okay, let's talk it out." They're like, "You need to
Yeah.
work on other stuff."
Let's find some solutions.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm like, "What's the
man,
issue? Let's talk it
all
out."
day we could chat. So we've worked out the love party
Yeah,
situation. We've worked out Cheersy. And, because you can't stop in your downtime, which I
right.
don't know how
Doesn't
you found
exist.
time because, yeah, you've just given birth to twins. You've written a book, The Rebel Wedding Planning Guide, Rewrite the Rules and Celebrate Your Love, coming out like in 2 weeks from when we're recording this. And I think by the time this is published, this might come out just a week before your book does. Tell me what you put in there. Tell me who it's for.
So I took the Modern Rebel process and bottled that up into this book. And the beautiful bit to a book is that I'm able to put things in there that I can't otherwise, really put into the planning process and share it with a larger audience. So, for example, yes, you should practically be able to plan a really cool wedding, a love party, something that rewrites the rule. Like, that's just, if you pick up the book, you will get to A to Z. that was very important to me, that you actually feel supported in this journey to plan it with sort of a guide. That's where the guidebook piece comes in, right? Then you should also feel really supported to plan this wedding so that it is a love party. It does rewrite the rules in some way. And maybe that means that you want to remix, the first dance or the speeches or wedding party or how you dress or it takes no assumptions about what you may or may not want to do. And it completely meets you where you are. And not only gives you tangible tips to actually come up with these ideas, but it gives you actual real life examples. So I have real couples, real modern rebel couples, their stories
Wow.
in the book. I also tapped a bunch of my vendor friends in every single vendor category because weddings are not only a team sport on the side of the couple, as you know, they're a team sport on the side of the vendors. And
Mm.
so I didn't feel right just writing a book and not including my friends who are some of the most talented people in this industry. And so I have caterer friends and florist friends and just giving actual tangible tips, especially for people that want to make a wedding their own way. And the third piece to me that is just so cool about this book is that it's like my dream vision for it was that people would almost like pick it up every year, like they watch their wedding video, right? Like we don't have like many things that really have our markers in time. We got like baby books, maybe like when we have babies. And then we have like wedding videos. But like, what else? Like, we need these. And I have that drawer, that junk drawer that just has like random memories. I never look at it. Right.
We
So
all
it's like,
do.
yeah. And so it's like, this feels to me like, okay, it's small enough. I can use it as a guide, but there's actual questions. And there's even spots to put a little Polaroid in for different moments in the book. So it's like asking you about your relationship. It's like those fun quizzes that I used to take online when I was like, 16 or whatever. Like, what do
Yes.
you like? And, I wanted it to feel fun and something you could actually do with your partner to learn about each other and remember where you were when you planned this love party so you can pick this book up and actually look
Yeah.
back.
Amazing. It's not only a planner, but it's a
Yeah.
storybook and it's a time capsule.
Yes. Yes. I really did too much. No,
Yeah,
but
I'm
that's kind of
shocked,
was the
Amy.
point.
Shocked.
I just couldn't stop. And it's also bright red because I had this vision. I'm weird like this. And I had this idea, like when I had this idea for the book, I don't want to create anything that's just been done before. Like, I don't feel the need to just make another wedding planning guidebook. Like, there's a lot of those out there.
Mm.
But I was like, man, there's nothing for people that want to rewrite the rules, and there's nothing for folks that like want to maybe intentionally go through this process together, and everything is like baby blue or soft pink. And I was like,
Yeah.
I want a book that's bright red. And I actually took a photo of myself before I got the book deal. This is even before I started the process. I don't even know if I had an agent yet. And I took a picture of myself in New York City at the Strand, which is a famous bookstore, and to the wedding shelf. It's all the same colors. And I just said to my husband, there will be red on this shelf. And there's a picture of me going like this, and there's going to be red
Oh,
on the shelf.
I love it. It's prophetic.
Manifest, baby.
Yes, in the most ultimate way. Well, so excited, to see the book, to see the red cover and
Yeah.
everything. And, if the listener is just loving what you're talking about, whether they want to come to New York and experience, do the love party themselves, whether they want to go through Cheersy, whether they want to find your book, where do people find you?
A great question. So the best place to go is actually modernrebelco.com. That actually has everything all in one place. That's going to have my Instagram at Modern Rebel. It's going to have the Cheersy Instagram at Cheersy. It's going to have a link to go to Cheersy, cheersy.com. And it's also going to have a link to go and buy the book, which is, like you said, the Rebel Wedding Planning Guidebook. You can also Google it. It's on Amazon. It's at Barnes& and Noble. It's at a
It's going to
lot
be
of different
everywhere.
retailers. Yeah.
We can find it down under.
I I I believe you can. Now I'm like second guessing it, but no, I mean, you should be able to order it, right?
Okay, I'm going to
They should be
find
able to
one on a
ship them.
shelf, Amy, somewhere
Oh,
here in Australia. I'm going to take a photo for you.
if you do that, that would mean so
We will
much to
get
me,
proof.
Camille.
We'll get proof of life.
That
Yes.
would be so cool. I want to go to Australia so bad. Maybe when I have older children,
Maybe, yeah.
I don't think I
Please.
want to take that plane
It's a
right now.
hike. It is a real hike. You want to make
Yeah.
it worthwhile. And it's
Ooh.
something that I learned like with my daughter. We'd go to these amazing places when she was, I don't know, 6 or 7, something like that.
Yeah.
And, she enjoyed it at the time. Like, it's great and everything. But, of course, we don't have memories of when we're 6 or 7. So my daughter doesn't and has no memory of these amazing places. And it breaks my heart because we paid a fortune.
Yes.
But, wait.
I'm going to wait. Yeah. Twins, airplane, even just a short distance is stressing me out. We got to move first. We're going to prioritize moving and then we'll figure everything else
one
out.
step at a time.
One step. That is my motto.
Really just wanted to thank you so much for your time. Your energy, like you were saying,
Thank you.
Old, I'm tired. I need a lot of coffee. I don't know how you would have been 10 years ago. Like this, it emanates through you. Bloody brilliant. Love the love parties. I think my listener would have just got a massive light bulb moment then about just starting something different, starting something new, making a wedding that, maybe they're excited about. I was chatting with a bride of mine recently and she was just so, like every chat with her was hard because she wasn't excited. She didn't care. She didn't care. So she's like, so then we do this and then we do that. And I'm like, if you want to, do you want to? And it's like drilling down to that, what are we doing this for? Like if you're not excited, it's a lot of money to waste on not being excited.
It's really steeped into, at least, especially in American culture. I'm not as familiar with Australian culture, but it's really just steeped into this narrative, especially for women, of you should be so excited. Like that is kind of like you're engaged and then you have to plan a wedding and it's so exciting. And I remember feeling like I didn't even think about my wedding. Like, I don't know what I want. I feel like what's your Pinterest? And I'm like, I don't know. I've never thought about it. And I say this, and I say this in the book, that, I went wedding dress shopping and I did the whole thing where you try it on and you stand on the pedestal. Not me at all, by the way. And I ended up buying this dress that was kind of like traditional-ish. But like, I look back and I'm like, why did I spend like ridiculous money on that dress? I regret it. If I can be blindsided and a little bit brainwashed by the wedding industry at large, then anybody can, because I'm thinking about everything. So the fact that I didn't even unpack that for myself. So I think, it's hard sometimes when you're in it. It's hard to step back and see it. But it's beautiful for you to be there for that person, because sometimes you need somebody else to go, do you care? If you don't care, it's fine.
Hey, buddy, you don't have to do this. It's okay.
This should be fun. It's a party.
Yes. Love it. Very empowering, Amy. Thank you so much for your time. We're going to keep an eye out for your book. I'll make sure to put the links to how to find you in the show notes. Great. And just a bloody pleasure.
Thank you, Camille. So great to meet you. And please come see a Brooklyn Nets game. See, is it Knicks or Nets? It's Nets, right? See, this is terrible. I don't know. And I love you. You're like,
you're a disgrace to New York.
No, don't even.
Nets. I'm a Nets girl. A little bit more gritty, a little bit more.
Yeah, little grittier, yeah. Are you also a Mets fan? That's a baseball team.
That's different, Amy. But that's
different
okay.
Sport. Okay. But I just thought maybe when you come here, you could go to both games. Like really,
why not?
Get the
birds with stones.
Because I feel like America, like the baseball is really the American pastime.
Thanks so much, Amy. Better go.
Thank you, Camille. Okay, I'm gonna go. I don't know how to hang up, but I'll figure it out. Okay.
No.
Bye.
That about wraps it up for this episode of the Unbridely podcast. For the links and resources we mentioned, please head to the show notes. And if you love the show, please review and subscribe on the podcast platform you're on now so you don't miss out on a single episode. Thanks so much for listening. And remember, weddings are a team sport. Catch you soon.